approximately 1 in 9 people experience food insecurity around the world, mostly in developing countries. Food scarcity can stem from either the production or distribution end of agriculture, but issues most common in today's society relate to the distribution side. Estimates from the World Trade Organization indicate that there's enough food produced globally to feed everyone on the planet, but access to that food is restricted by poverty, conflict, proximity to resources, and the diversion of some of that agriculture to other industries like the meat and biofuel industry. To try to counteract problems surrounding food scarcity, vertical farming has been introduced as a new method of farming that involves converting large, unused buildings, often in urban areas, into farms by stacking layers of plants. Many people are in favor of expanding the scale of vertical farming to make it one of the primary methods of crop production, mainly because it provides protection from the effects of temperature, climate change, and extreme weather patterns. Additionally, advocates claim vertical farming produces fewer carbon emissions due to the lack of large farm equipment like tractors. However, vertical farms can only produce a limited range of crops, mostly leafy greens, due to the high energy demands of crops like potatoes and tomatoes. These greens are often purchased by nearby restaurants and never reach the people in these urban areas who need fresh vegetables the most. Vertical farming also entails high energy costs due to the artificial lighting and climate control technologies employed by the facilities. As a result, it is unlikely that this method of production would venture past the elite market. The vertical farming industry has done nothing to implement fair pricing and distribution techniques, and is in fact another facet of agribusiness and the industrialization of the farming industry. Urban agriculture has become a popular alternative to large-scale food production, endorsed by many NGOs across the globe. It takes a much more community-based approach to food production than vertical farming, and can also grow a wider range of crops since the gardens are outside and use natural light sources. For instance, in the United States, Chicago recently introduced a bill allowing counties or municipalities to create urban agriculture zones made up of organizations or individuals who grow produce or other agricultural products, raise or process livestock, or sell a minimum of 75% locally grown food. These zones use vacant land to adjust to the issue of food access and healthy nutrition, measures aiming to alleviate the food desert. The UN estimates that 66% of the world's population will live in urban areas by 2050. Urban agricultural projects aim to deliver nutritious food to these underprivileged and overpopulated areas that lack sufficient alternatives to energy-dense food. A study published by Sheila Golden in 2013 states that urban agriculture food projects evaluated by the Community Food Security Coalition produced 18.7 million pounds of food, with over 726,000 pounds donated for community food consumption. The study also notes that community food projects funded by the USDA provided an estimated 2,300 jobs and incubated over 3,600 micro-businesses, and that there is substantial research indicating that participants save money on their food expenditures as well.
We visited the Urban Agriculture Collective of Charlottesville, otherwise known as UACC, which was founded in 2012. According to their website, the UACC increases the availability and consumption of fresh, organically grown fruits through urban gardens centered in low-income housing communities. The UACC produces an annual average of 10,000 pounds of fresh produce and delivers it to neighboring communities free of charge, at an average of 38 people per market.
By creating a different currency using time and wooden tokens, people who can't volunteer can still take advantage of the vegetables, right? So if, for example, like Johnny, who volunteers a ton and earns all these tokens, but is never going to eat like 20 tokens worth of vegetables in like 3 months, like he's got all these tokens, he can drop them into a jar called the Pay It Forward jar. We take that to market day and we grab tokens out of there to pay for, say, somebody who lives at Crescent Halls, who uses a wheelchair, who can't come out here, but totally wants the vegetables. That pays for their vegetables.
The 3 UACC sites, Friendship Court, 6th Street, and West Street, are operated as one big farm so as to maximize production and rotate crops from year to year. Individuals who volunteer earn wooden coins called farm tokens. For half an hour of service, a volunteer earns 1 farm token. That token can be exchanged for a bag of fresh organic produce that would cost between $15 and $30 in a local grocery store.
The way other adults like to engage with it is through market days. So they like to get the vegetables. They like to volunteer at market days, so actually like distributing to your neighbors is a more appealing activity than like being on your knees for 5 hours. So they get engaged that way. They also get engaged through leadership, right? So like our board of directors is primarily folks who live right here, right in these communities, and that's very intentional, right? Because one, it's their backyard, and number two, like they should decide what's respectful and appropriate for their backyard. We wanted to create something that brought people together across the two neighborhoods, and I think we have done that for sure. Whether that has a huge lasting social impact, probably not, but it makes an impact on a few people's lives, which is important.